Okay, for Psalms, let me move my copy so it's not putting it 50. This has been a requested one. And Psalms 50 is an interesting Psalms, and I thought that I'd have to break it down a little bit. So I figured first we'd read through the verses. So in Psalms 50, oops, there we go, put that there. Psalms 50, I had it marked with my marker. It has 23 verses, and it is written by Asaph. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And the title at the top says, God the Mighty Judge. So let's read it first, and then we'll talk about it. If you know it, or you don't want to listen to the reading part and you want to jump ahead, I don't see where that'd be anything wrong, so go ahead and do that if you'd like. The mighty God, even the Lord, has spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion the perfection of beauty God hath shined. Our God shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous. I can't say that, sorry. Round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, to the earth, and that he may, there we go, he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heaven shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself. Shelah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy fold. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the fields are mine. If I were hungry, I would tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vow unto the Most High, and call upon me in the days of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, then thou consented with him, and hast been partaker with the adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue framest deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and kept silent, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. But I will reprove thee, and set them in order before mine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I shew the salvation of God. Oops, dropping the pencil. So I went through and I studied it. I read a little bit about Asaph, and I found out that he was a chief musician that did praise to God. Then I went through and did the Who and other study. The Who in our study is the mighty God, the Hebrew Gibor. It's strength, power, hero, warrior. And I found that in HTTPS. Well, I'll just put it on the screen. I'll try to remember to put it on the screen. And Isaiah 9:6 says, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God. Here's the strength and the power, and the hero, and the warrior, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So the Lord, L-O-R-D in all capitals, an indication of the divine name, Yahweh, Lord with all capitals. God is now what he always has been and what he will remain forever. God doesn't change. So when we see it in all capital letters, Lord or God, it's Jehovah. And I have another website here that I got that from. So I went on and studied. Oh, let me move my thing so I don't mess up here. What? And what? They're talking about sacrifices. What kind of sacrifices are we doing for the Lord? And why? So I found Ecclesiastes 5:1 after I had done this, and I thought we'd add it in. It says, Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not the sacrifice, that they do evil. So a lot of people, it sounds like, were doing sacrifices just because it was like a rote thing. Like a lot of people who just go to church because that's the way they were brought up. On Sunday morning, I get up, I get myself cleaned up and go to church, and then I'm good. But that's not the way it is. So let's keep on going and studying. It says sacrifices, giving to the Lord whatever he requires of our time or our earthly possessions or energies to further his work. It doesn't have anything to do right here like they're trying to do in this verse, this chapter. He's saying that they keep on just coming and killing animals and thinking that everything's right and good. But he wants us to sacrifice our time, our possessions, our energies. He wants us to give us to him. Not things like sacrifices of slaughtering animals, but ourselves. our lives. And I got that from this website here. So I'll try to remember to get that on the screen as well. God starts off by drawing everyone's attention in verse 1. The Lord hath spoken. So when the Lord speaks, we need to listen. And called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down. In other words, everyone on earth, listen up. The Lord is speaking. Going down to verse 4. God calls us all to order. Verse 5. The saints are to gather together. Verse 6. God is judge himself. Verse 7. God isn't happy with us. Oops. There we go. What is continuing on this page? Verse 10 through 13, God is reminding us that He owns everything on the earth. Verse 14, instead of all these animal sacrifice, He wants us to offer unto Him thanksgiving and pay thy vows to Him. Verse 15, call unto Him in the day of trouble, and He will deliver us. He wants to take care of us. Verse 11 says, 11 through 17, but unto the wicked God saith, they cast God's instructions behind them. So that's a big thing. The first thing I thought of when I was studying was, am I casting God's word behind me so I don't have to have it right in front of me? Or am I trying to constantly focus my attention on Him and what His instructions say? So that was a biggie. He doesn't want me to just read it and then be done. So, sorry, my alarm went off. So I need to focus more on what He's saying to me and making a note on it. So it's right there in front of my face so I can remember it. Verse 18, they joined themselves with thieves and was a partaker with adultery. So here's another thing. Who are we joining ourselves up with? And what are they doing? Because we don't want to act like people that God are not pleased with. 19. The mouth is evil, the tongue frames deceit. So it's speak is a good thing here. We need to remember that. 20. Speaks against your brother. Are we gossiping and talking ugly about others around us? Or are we uplifting and encouraging others? 21. They did all this and God kept silence, and they thought God was with them. But God will reprove them and set them in order before our eyes. Verse 22, God says we are to consider before it is too late. So if we in any way are living this way, we need to consider what we're doing and ponder on it before it's too late. Verse 3, offer praises, glorifies God, and those who orders their conversation sees the salvation of God. Sorry, that should have been 23. So, this is on the writer. So I thought about this and I thought there are a lot of wonderful things in this chapter that we need to ponder on and to think about. What kind of life are we living? What kind of thoughts are we having? Who are we hanging out with? So this is very, very interesting on what we should focus our lives on. And I think a helpful thing, especially in this day and age, because there's a lot of people out there that are saying, Lord, Lord, but they're doing it for attention, not for Him. So we need to think about that and ponder on that, and to study His Word and keep it in front of us, not throw it behind us. Okay, that's all I have for this week, and I'm so glad that we got this time together. I hope it was helpful. Let me know below. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.